Using AI feels a little like using a microwave or a slot machine. You press a button, you wait, and you hope for a good outcome. The hidden problem is that we're being trained to consume technology, to use it passively, to blindly accept its limitations and its uncertainties. Today, I will discuss why we need to embrace and foster a maker mindset when it comes to AI in education. A maker-minded person treats AI like a workshop. They use it as a place to tinker, experiment, remix, customize, and build something. They are open to new perspectives and possibilities. What I hope you take away from my presentation is that there are better and more healthy ways to use AI than the dominant one that's being pushed to students and educators. One that involves more agency and more creativity. One where you take on the role of a creator rather than a consumer of AI. Agency is essential. Without it, we lose our motivation, our resilience, our curiosity, and our creative confidence. My big worry with current AI platforms like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and even more concerningly, AI education, student-facing AI platforms like Magic School, School AI, and Flint, is that they are overlooking agency, undermining learning, and even killing creativity. For my workshop, I will showcase examples of STEAM-focused AIs that students created using Sage.Education's AI workshop platform. I'll also demonstrate how easy, fun, useful, and most importantly, empowering it is to create your own AIs. Before we jump in, I would like to thank the EASE community for inviting me to reimagine AI in STEAM with you. For my workshop, I'll share links using QR codes, so I invite you to grab a secondary device to scan them and participate. I've taught IB music performance and music technology in Montreal, Canada for 20 years. One of my favorite STEAM music projects was when I taught my senior band students how to solder and fix their broken music equipment. This project was inspired by The Story of Stuff, a cartoon and book by Annie Leonard. In our music STEAM project, we explored how many of our belongings are often designed to wear out quickly and to break, with the intended consequence that we consume and buy more. This is called planned obsolescence. Through our Music Fix-It Lab experience, we repaired headphones, guitars, patch cords, speakers, cell phone screens, and more. We'll come back to this STEAM music project later though. I now want to pivot and explain why I became interested in AI beyond simply just experimenting with generative AI music apps. My more in-depth interest in AI started a few years ago with a little seed. This seed opened my eyes to how big AI is trapping us in an unhealthy, over-consumerist approach, which parallels the lessons from The Story of Stuff. In generative AI, the seed is a parameter that randomizes the probability of a token output, so basically a word. If this parameter is set to a specific number, then the output token is deterministic. And if it can be determined, then you can reproduce the same output over and over. This can give you the ability to generate consistent, unique outputs. Let's have some fun and explore this on Hugging Face. I invite you to create a free Hugging Face account and let's play with the seed parameter using a text-to-image diffusion. For my image prompt, I chose to focus on cats. So I wrote B&W tuxedo cat reclining on a carpet, oil on canvas, 48 by 48. Here are 3 outputs from 3 random seeds. So we have kitty cat number 1, and then I run it again, and you can see kitty cat number 2. And here is kitty cat number 3. Now when you use the same prompt and unselect in the advanced settings randomized seed, and then choose seed number 664808544 instead, you will get this image. Go ahead and try it, but make sure you copy my exact prompt. Even adding extra spaces will change the output. Why do proprietary AIs hide parameters like the seed from the user? And why do they set the seed value to be randomized by default? They want us to believe in AI magic. They say AI is a black box. Well, it is, by definition, if you make its internal workings not visible or accessible, making it difficult to understand. I think big AI wants to train us to use AI like a gambler at a casino, perpetually pressing a button to see what we get next, which is also similar to the pull to refresh action we were trained to do for social media, giving us that next dopamine hit. These are unhealthy ways to interact with AI. They don't help anyone understand how AI works. As STEAM educators, we need to foster curiosity, exploration, experimentation, innovation, and thinking critically and creatively. Understanding AI concepts like parameters, such as seeds, temperature, top K values, and understanding the importance of the system prompt, which is different from the chat prompt, and I'll explain more on that later, along with my personal concerns about data privacy, gradually showed me big AI's true colors. The majority of AI companies prioritize controlling access and are transparent. It's for this reason that my husband and I built Sage.Is, an open source AI platform for individuals, startups, and small businesses, and Sage.Education for schools to give learners and educators ethical and accessible AI tools. Let's see what students created with Sage. In our first example, grade 7 and 8 students created APA, AstroPi AI, which is an AI created to mentor students with Python coding for the AstroPi Space Challenge. The European AstroPi Challenge is an educational initiative run by the European Space Agency in collaboration with the Raspberry Pi Foundation. Let's go in to the workshop and search AstroPi. Here it is. Notice that you can choose from many different base models, and the system prompt is about only 7 lines. And there's a knowledge base that the students have created, one for AstroPi rules and the other one for Python coding. Let's compare the same question in ChatGPT and with AstroPi AI. Notice that ChatGPT has a much longer answer and AstroPi is much shorter and straight to the point. And also AstroPi AI really just encourages students to focus on the project and get to work on the project, whereas ChatGPT kind of really digs in and explains everything possible under the moon. Next, let's meet Maggie, made by grade 11 students. Maggie is an AI mentor for young women interested in STEM. Notice with Maggie, when students ask a question, it references and says the relevance that the material is pulled from their knowledge base. Sage.Education is our AI platform designed for educators and learners of all ages. Unlike traditional AI ed tech platforms, Sage gives schools precise controls over students' AI access, scaffolding learning just like a teacher would. At its core, it's a workshop where users don't just use AI, but create their own tools and agents. No other platform offers this level of customization, accessibility, and creative freedom. With Sage, you choose the AI model that fits your goal, or you even build your own. System prompts are the hidden instructions, guidelines, and contextual information that set the stage for a large language model's behavior during an interaction. Think of system prompts like stage directions for an actor or your character sheet in a role-playing game. These instructions are hidden from the audience and shape how an AI behaves before you even start chatting. Big AI systems prompts are trade secrets that enable them to tune the behavior of an AI model to role-specific guidelines, tone instructions, and creativity constraints. What your system prompt needs. First of all, who is your AI? You need to establish a clear persona and/or a tone, so you need to specify the context. Who's your audience, specific subject, topics, grade levels. Secondly, what tasks do you want your AI to do? So define the task using clear action verbs like explain, create, provide, generate. Give instructions by providing concise guidelines of what you want the end product to be. Now that we know how system prompt works, let's put this to action and make our first AI. So I mentioned that I wanted to come back to my music project where my students learned how to fix their own instruments, and I was thinking if I could make an AI to help them, that would be really great. So let's make an iFixit music helper. And I've already sort of brainstormed the system prompt with the who is your AI and what is your task. So let's go ahead and copy and paste that in. I also chose my base model. I went for Sage, but you can choose any base model you want. Okay, so now that I have that, you can also play around with the parameters. I'm not going to do that right now, and suggest a prompt suggestion for the user when they're using in the chat bot. You could also add knowledge from your knowledge base. At the moment, I didn't make any, but I could definitely add some, like what tools are available, for example, in our woodshop Makerspace. So now let's test out the chat and see if it works the way I want it to work. I'm testing it as if I was a student, and it pretty much answered, and you can go back and forth. Now let's build another AI, this time from a student's perspective. If I was a student, I sometimes, struggle with time management and just organizing myself to get all my homework done. So let's make a student task management helper to help organize myself. As far as my system prompt, I've already, again, pre-made it just to keep things short. And for my base model, again, I just chose Sage. Again, you can experiment and see from which base model you prefer using. While I've been testing it, I noticed that my system prompt didn't really understand that students go to school during the day. It was asking me if I wanted to study math in the morning, afternoon, or in the evening. So I had to go and adjust my system prompt just to add to the parameters, the understanding that I'm in school as a student all day from approximately 9 to 4. And then later on, I also just, added a few other details just to reinforce a balanced life, making sure I don't, spend time on social media too much and all things like that. I welcome you to scan this QR code and learn more helpful tips on how to make a system prompt. Professor Dr. Ken Robinson once said of the art of teaching, "Gardeners know that they don't make the plants grow. Plants grow themselves. The job of a gardener is to create the best conditions for that to happen." When students use generative AI with a maker mindset and are provided with the tools to make their own AIs, they are more likely to question the limitations of the AI, think creatively about its applications, and develop a deeper understanding of the underlying technology. More importantly, they gain agency over their learning and their creative process. In a way, they become a budding seed themselves. I hope I've inspired you to approach using AI in a healthier and more maker-minded way. I hope you explore creating your own AIs with Sage, and I thank you for your time. Have a great day. I welcome you to scan this QR code and visit Sage.Is and try a free account.